Just ahead on CTV News, the governor picks a candidate to back in the county executive race. Plus, the county council honors local vendors during Black History Month. And we sit down with a county executive candidate. Those stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening, this is CTV News for February 18th. I'm Michaela Newton. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, as week 5 of the Trump administration begins, the long weekend was headlined by layoffs and a high-ranking government official stepping down. Hundreds of probationary employees with the Federal Aviation Administration have been fired just weeks after the fatal crash over the Potomac River. President of the Professional Aviation Safety Specialists Union, David Sparrows, said employees were fired, quote, without cause nor based on performance or conduct. Probationary workers were also targeted in federal health agencies as termination letters were sent to thousands of employees late Saturday evening. Plus, acting commissioner of the Social Security Administration, Michelle King, stepped down after refusing to provide Elon Musk access to sensitive information. And with the federal layoffs also came a public outcry as protesters took to the streets of Washington, D.C. yesterday. Thousands of demonstrators braved near freezing temperatures and heavy wind gusts to protest outside of the U.S. Capitol building, expressing their concerns and support for federal workers. And Maryland Governor Wes Moore has weighed in on the crowded race for county executive in Prince George's County. Moore has endorsed Prince George's state's attorney, Aisha Braveboy, for the post. In a statement, Moore described Braveboy as a fantastic partner in making the state and county safer, more affordable, and competitive. Braveboy has served as state's attorney since 2018. Also yesterday, State Treasurer Derek Davis endorsed former county executive Rashawn Baker for the job. The special primary election is set for March 4th. Meanwhile, Prince George's County Council has introduced a bill that prevents the county police and fire and EMS departments from automatically disqualifying candidates for uniform positions like police officers or firefighters due to a positive pre-employment cannabis test. Now, this legislation builds on a 2023 law that banned employers, including those in public safety, from asking about past cannabis use. The goal is to ensure that fitness for these positions is evaluated in a more holistic way, allowing quality candidates to be fairly considered.
It's a concern that law enforcement has brought to my attention. Young people that want to participate and be part of public safety have brought to my attention. We know the law has changed on the state level, so we have to ensure that the policies and procedures that we have on a local level line up and that we're not creating barriers, because we want people from our community, the next generation, to be interested in public safety. So this step will hopefully remove one of those barriers for us hiring young people from Prince George's County.
For the 7th year in a row, property values in Maryland are up. The state's Department of Assessment and Taxation says 700,000 residential and commercial properties were recently reassessed, including those in Montgomery and Prince George's counties. The increase in property value means an increase in property taxes. Now, homeowners can apply for a homestead tax credit, which is income-based. That credit could cap any increase of their principal residence taxable assessment at no more than 10% per year. And a new county-run tax prep site opens up in Temple Hills. The county's Department of Social Services, along with its partners, which include the Cash Campaign of Maryland and the Internal Revenue Service, among others, have opened up a new tax prep location. The site is in the same building as the county's Department of Social Services on the 4200 block of 28th Avenue. Now, officials say this tax prep site is designed to help low-income families, but especially those that make $60,000 a year or less.
What we're doing here in the Department of Social Services is really to help connect the families that are accessing benefits, whether that's food stamps, SNAP, temporary cash assistance, Medicaid, whatever, that they're able to access that free service while they're here in the building. So it's really designed to support them, helping them achieve economic stability, and most importantly, making sure that they're really fully taking advantage of those tax credits that exist through the IRS, whether that's earned income tax credit or the child tax credit, that they're able to file those taxes and get those tax credits they're eligible for.
Residents will be able to file both their state and federal taxes with an IRS certified volunteer for free. The tax preparation site is open every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. until April 11th. Now, to book an appointment, call 301-316-7900. And Maryland's budget deficit and federal policy changes from the Trump administration might have an impact on a state program that is expected to go into effect this summer. The Family and Medical Leave Insurance Program is a state initiative that is willing to provide paid family leave to Maryland workers beginning in July. However, this program might be halted. According to reports, Maryland's Labor Secretary Portia Wu is proposing to delay the initiative by 18 months. And a federal agency will no longer participate at the University of Maryland's upcoming career fair. According to reports, the university will not allow the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, to take part in the university's spring career fair. Recruiters from ICE were originally set to participate in the fair. The change comes after the Student Government Association passed a bill last week asking the Career Center to uninvite ICE. And the spring career fair is set for February 27th and 28th. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Michaela Newton. Still to come, a local restaurant is serving up unique and fresh fast food. Find out what sets them apart from other restaurants in the area after the break.
You gotta believe without seeing. You gotta keep going, keep breathing. When you face a day that feels like you're gonna break, you gotta believe without seeing. You gotta keep going, keep breathing. When you face a day that feels like you're gonna break, so lean on the ones that love you, the guardian angels above you, and think about when peace just another color. Ooh, just another color. Just another color.
Welcome back. A suspect is in custody for a fatal shooting in Suitland on Sunday. Raymond Terry III is charged with first and second degree murder of Vincent Fisher III. Police found Fisher inside an SUV suffering from gunshot wounds around 7 p.m. He was later pronounced dead on the scene. Now, investigation shows Terry and Fisher knew each other and were both in the SUV when the shooting occurred. Terry had turned himself into police later Sunday night. And an alleged road rage incident over the weekend led to the Maryland State Police recovering 2 firearms and arresting a Suitland man. 34-year-old Kenyatta Von Williams Jr. has been charged with first and second degree assault and other related weapons charges. Williams is accused of pointing a firearm at another driver while traveling on the inner loop of I-495 Saturday. No injuries have been reported in relation to this incident. Meanwhile, a jury has found 50-year-old Wilson Wesley Chavez guilty of second-degree murder and reckless endangerment. In June of 2023, Chavez was conducting a burial service for a 10-year-old shooting victim at Washington National Cemetery when he pulled out a gun and opened fire. He shot and killed 30-year-old pallbearer Ronald Banks and wounded a woman during a fight with mourners from another funeral home.
Because of some pre-existing beef, Mr. Wilson Wesley Chavez decided to take it upon himself to intervene in what should have been a beautiful, peaceful service and, cause a lot of confusion, cause violence, threats to happen, and ultimately killed Mr. Ronald Banks.
And Chavez faces up to 65 years in prison. His sentencing is scheduled for July 11th. In honor of Black History Month, the Prince George's County Council hosted a vibrant Vendor Day celebration this afternoon, shining a spotlight on small and emerging Black-owned businesses in the community. The event provided an opportunity for attendees to shop from local entrepreneurs, but also highlighted the importance of supporting Black-owned businesses.
My nonprofit is called Care Packages of Love Incorporated. I started about 20 years ago. I started sending care packages to my children when they were running track in the college, and their friends were like, I want a care package. So I started sending care packages to their friends, and before I knew it, I was sending 60 a month out of my pocket.
In the Prince George's County area, there's not many, if any, Panhandle or Divine Nine or Greek paraphernalia stores. So we're trying to open that up and start something, and hopefully that will be a successful time to come.
All right, well, did you know that Maryland is ranked as one of the top 10 most expensive states to shop for groceries? According to a new study from Food Label Maker, Maryland ranked number 45 on the list of states with the most affordable groceries. Maryland's grocery prices have increased by more than 20% over the past 2 years. The state coming in at number 1 for most affordable groceries was, you guessed it, Texas. And earlier today, the city of New Carrollton was presented with a check from Purple Line Transit Partners to invest in a food forest for its residents. Community members watched as the $3,000 grant was presented to the mayor of New Carrollton. Located at Veterans Memorial Park, the food forest, which is scheduled to launch this summer, will provide fresh produce, vegetables, and more to residents who may need some extra assistance.
This gives us an opportunity to help out so many people who are having such a hard time right now and having enough money to be able to afford the skyrocketing price of food and groceries.
We're really glad to join with places like the city of New Carrollton. All along the corridor, we've been taking applications, and we encourage other groups to absolutely apply. Just go to purplelinemd.com and find our Beyond the Rails Community Grant Program. We're looking to get as many grants in as possible so our grant program can do the most good possible.
20 grants have been awarded since the Purple Line Beyond the Rails grant program launched in 2023. And with the prices of groceries on the rise, we still all deserve to eat out occasionally. One local restaurant specializes in delivering food fast without sacrificing taste, quality, or affordability. Healthy Life Cuisine in Clinton prides themselves on using only the finest organic ingredients available. We spoke to Healthy Life Cuisine head chef Sultan Stallings on why this healthy option is essential in the community.
I know I go out and eat, and you spend a lot of money in this time with the economy and whatnot, but the product is no good. So we give you everything a nice portion. Everything is made fresh, to order, not pre-sitting. So that's one thing that stands out. Health is wealth. What you put in your body, it means a lot. You know, you can put the best vehicle in your gas in your car, it's going to perform better. Same when it comes to food. You put the best food in there, you get a better performance. The way you think, the way you communicate, and you live your life. So it's very important.
Healthy Life Cuisine does deliver as well via DoorDash, but to check out the full menu, visit healthylifecuisine417.com. And still to come on CTV News, CTV News is bringing you exclusive interviews with candidates for the county executive seat. After the break, Byron Scott speaks to candidate Albert Slocum on his vision if elected. We'll be right back.
Prince George's Community Television, the home for everything Prince George's, is gearing up to start our media training and classes. Come to PGCTV and get hands-on training in field production, studio production, producing and directing, podcasting, and video editing. Classes begin March 5th. Learn from industry professionals on how to write, produce, direct, shoot, and edit, and take your skills to the next level. Register today. Classes begin March 5th.
Listen up. It's the fourth quarter. You're almost there. Your boys just turned 18, but they need one more push. Don't let them forget to register with the Selective Service System. It's required by law, and if they don't register, they'll miss out on many important federal benefits. Parents, teachers, coaches, say it with me, sss.gov. SSS.gov. Let's get them registered today.
special primary election for the county executive seat is just 2 weeks away. CTV continues to bring exclusive one-on-one interviews with each of the candidates. Joining us today in the studio is candidate Albert Slocum. Mr. Slocum, thank you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Scott.
Well, it's a big crowded field, as you know. Talk about why you decided to enter the crowded field, and some of whom have been in this race for a while.
Yes. Well, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a lifelong resident of Prince George's County for about 25 years, originally from Bridgeport, Connecticut, and I started off in the public school system. My mother inspired me as far as being a community activist, and then from there, I took that lead and started getting involved with youth, with a program called Youth Tutoring Youth, which is a program in Bridgeport, Connecticut. So that's very near and dear to me because today's youth need mentoring. And from that standpoint, I attended high school, regional vocational technical high school, learned a trade, carpentry and construction. Was motivated to want better because we came from a large family, mine being the youngest of 10 siblings. And we were living in poverty. We were living in affordable housing. And as a result of that, I wanted more, I wanted better. So I relocated, went to Howard University, got my BBA in finance, and then went on to Bowie State University, got my Master of Arts in Human Resource Development. As a long life county resident, I saw that change needed to be taken, and I decided, okay, in 2018, if you're gonna get things done, you might as well run instead of being on the sidelines. And I got tired of being tired, and I'm sure many of you are feeling the same way. And if you want change, real change in the county, you have to do things just on your own.
Well, talk about, sir, for a minute, if you will, what sets you apart specifically from the others? Because again, you have a former county executive who's running, you have council member who's running, a state attorney who's running. What sets you apart from them and the other candidates specifically? My
experience in corporate America for over 30 years. I have a background in business development, I have a background in economics, I have a background in finance and budgeting, as well as HRD. And those are the components that will help you become very successful in this role. As far as my exposure, life's experience will help you understand the moving pieces that we need to get things done here in the county. And then, of course, my education, as I mentioned, in addition to being an alumnus of Howard University and Bowie State University, I went to New York University and received my Master of Science in Real Estate Development, which is very key in our infrastructure here in the county.
One of the candidates is a former county executive who says he can hit the ground running. He's been in that seat for a while, had been. What makes you think that you can hit the ground running better than he can?
Well, because he doesn't have the background or exposure that I do. And as far as getting things up and running, I can start day one because of my business acumen, and that's key. I can't say the same for the former county executive. He had his chance, and we've already seen what he was able to do.
Let's talk about your plan for the first 100 days. You want to hit the ground running, as you say you can do the first day. First 100 days, what will you accomplish?
Well, first things first, we need to make sure that our budget is balanced. And I will make sure that I work with every agency to see what reorganizational aspects we need to have. Secondly, we need to focus on the primaries. The priorities are the priorities. We can take a portion of that budget, instead of putting it into high-end areas, we can reallocate it in areas that will work and make it more optimal for the county. Things like providing senior programs, social services, also helping out as far as job creation, because when we invest in the community, they're able to pour back in. And we need to keep our dollars recycling within our community so that our local businesses can thrive.
Speaking of dollars, we're talking about a $170 million budget deficit. What is your plan for dealing with that specifically, rather than just saying we need to look at what's going on? What would you do to deal with that budget deficit?
Well, first things first, we definitely have to visit the line items so that they don't occur again. I believe that there's mismanagement of how those funds are allocated. Secondly, we need to look at our resources and make sure that they're at optimal levels. And then thirdly, we need to come up with ways to generate revenue. The county does not have anything that's proprietary. We need to be able to say, hey, look, what can we do well, and then own it, and then be able to provide those services and products for a profit, pretty much like the United States Patent Trade Office, where they're able to, provide services and make millions of dollars. So we need to basically get that up and running.
Going back to the deficit, would you raise taxes or issue cuts in services?
No reduction, and hear my words. there will be no reduction as far as I'm concerned, and I will fight to make sure that it doesn't happen. What I will do is increase our commercial tax base. Right now, we have 70% at the residential. We need 70% at the commercial. We need to flip-flop that so that we're at optimal revenue levels.
You raise taxes?
On the commercial side. And on those
residential, would you raise taxes?
No, I will not. I would not. In fact, I want to decrease those taxes and give folks a break.
Now, in terms of getting businesses into the county, what's your plan for doing that?
Well, I've visited Wall Street, and again, I work for large corporations, multi-billion-dollar companies who are from Wall Street. So one of the things is building those relationships and making it attractive, because Prince George's has to be the place to be.
So is the county going in the right direction? And if not, how would you change that specifically?
From top down, there's transparency, accountability, and performance. And I mean, results do matter. So from a leader with a transformational leadership style, I would have to prune some branches if we have to. For those who do not want to work in the county and provide customer service and treat our residents with the utmost respect, those would be the first that would have to recompete for their positions. Secondly, we have to look at everything from transportation, infrastructure, transportation, utilities. People are complaining about our quasi-government as far as PEPCO and WSSC. So we have to look at that and give people some encouragement, empowerment, so that morale is higher. And with respect to that, they'll get involved, and then engaging them from a community standpoint will help the county overall as well.
We have about 2 minutes left here. Talk about the federal layoffs that may impact the county. How would you counter that? Because that's going to be a reduction of taxes coming in. People may need services. How would you deal with that challenge?
Great. And I'm glad you asked that, Mr. Scott. Our federal employees, they are family. Despite the fact that they work for the federal government, they still live here in Prince George's County. And they are part of our thrive in 2025 and beyond. And if I'm elected, I will make sure that they take advantage of the resources that we have: social services, job creation, training, and even helping them redirect their transferable skills into roles that are applicable to what they want to do. And if they want to start businesses, well, we have an opportunity. Madam Senator Alsobrooks has what is called the WAVE. And there's the Economic Development Initiative as well, which can pour into those type of businesses to help those that want to start their own business. So together, we have to work together to make Prince George's first, which is going to build us to become Prince George's strong.
Last question here. Why should the voters put you in the office?
I believe that I've been in their shoes in so many different ways, and they're tired of being tired just like I am. They want real change. They want someone who knows what they're doing day one, who understands budget, who understands building a stream of cash flow from a standpoint of helping out our communities, building our social services, supporting individuals with disabilities, supporting our seniors with respect to having economically advantageous housing. And that is from a standpoint of not only just seniors, but those with housing insecurities, and then individuals that are working or the working poor. So I represent them.
Okay, Mr. Slocum, thank you very much. Primary set for March 4th. All the best. Michaela, back to you.
All right, Byron, thanks so much. The special primary election will be held on March 4th. Make sure you tune in tomorrow as we introduce another candidate, at-large Councilman Calvin Hawkins, only on CTV News. And Simon Buggs is back with our Tuesday sports page. Simon.
What's going on, sports fans? I'm back and have some exciting news from the world of college hoops in store for today. Don't go anywhere.
You've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. You have to carefully monitor your health for the rest of your life, and you have an increased risk of developing cardiovascular disease.
Cut. Type 2, take 2.
Action. You've been diagnosed with a new purpose: to fight for the amazing life you made for yourself, to look that risk of heart disease square in the face and say, no, not me. You've been given a new opportunity to live. Get started at NoDiabetesByHeart.org.
everyone, go ahead and grab a seat and get excited because the time has finally come. Your Tuesday sports page is here. It was a battle of the M's yesterday as the University of Maryland women's basketball team took the court versus Michigan. Now it was a close game at the half as the Lady Terps trailed 40-38. But in the second half, the Lady Terps outscored the Lady Wolverines 47-37 to win the game 85-77. With this dub, Maryland is now 20-6 on the season. Here's head coach Brenda Freese after the game.
For us to beat Michigan, they're a really, really good team, and you can see the young talent that they have, how special that freshman class is, and they're a hard matchup just given all 5 players on the floor can score the basketball. But I thought we were connected on the defensive end. I thought our seniors, Shai, Sarah, Chris really stepped up and made big plays, Say as well. I thought that run that we had at the end of the second and into the start of the third was about the best we could have possibly have played.
Maryland will face off next against another Big Ten foe in Northwestern on Thursday. In other Terp sports news, congratulations to star center Derek Queen for being named the Big Ten Freshman of the Week again. This comes after he led the Terps to 2 big wins over Nebraska and Iowa this past week. And during that stretch, Queen averaged 21 points and 12 boards. The Baltimore native leads the team in points per game with 16 and is second on the team in boards per game with almost 9. This is the 5th time this season Queen has received this honor. He and the rest of the Terps will return to action against USC on Thursday. Meanwhile, the UMD softball team season is underway and the Lady Terps will be looking to bounce back from a disappointing 2024 season. And 2 players that will play a big part in that are outfielders Maisie McFarland and catcher Sam Bean. I talked to head coach Lauren Karn and she told CTV Sports what those 2 bring to this Lady Terp squad.
So we're fortunate enough to have 2 sixth-year seniors on our roster in both Maisie McFarland in the outfield and Sam Bean, who will be behind the plate for us. And with their experience, the experiences that they've had both on the sideline, both coming back from an injury and competing at a really high level, I think their composure, their understanding for what it means to bounce back, and their willingness and wanting to win, those 3 areas are going to be huge for us in game, and I think they are the right people to lead us in that way.
The team will travel to Chapel Hill to take on UNC next on Thursday. Meanwhile, be sure to go out and support your local high schools tonight, everyone, as there will be some action on the hardwood. The defending champion Largo Lions will try to get a win against Fairmont Heights. Bladensburg will try and get back on the winning side when they take on Duval. Crosstown will look to get a win on the road against Oxon Hill. And finally, Frederick Douglass will host Gwynn Park. And that wraps up your Tuesday sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
All right, Simon, thanks so much. Let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight will be cloudy and we'll have winds of up to 23 miles per hour. Tomorrow is going to be 30 degrees and we have a 30% chance of snow. Thursday, we'll have another chance of snow showers before 1 p.m. And Friday, it's going to be nice and sunny. We'll have a high of 40 and a low of 22. And for our community calendar tonight, the Department of Parks and Rec is hosting an HBCU Money Guide workshop. Students will learn how to put together an educational plan, learn everything they need to know about paying for their education, and how to leverage all educational pathways. This event takes place tonight at 7 p.m. at the Southern Arena Aquatics and Recreation Complex. But for more information, contact 301-782-1442. All right, that's all the time we have for CTV News. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.